welcome to TSK F1. How are you doing, guys? Can't lie. I can't lie. I am so excited for today. I can hardly contain my levels of excitement today. Honestly, I cannot wait for free practice 3 and then qualifying later on today, which of course I'll be here for the watch along of that as well later on today. But we've got about 30 minutes until free practice 3 starts, so we can have a good old chat about what we saw yesterday and what went down yesterday. It was a bit of a crazy day, and honestly, I should say it. I could go absolutely just insane today. It's very likely. If Alonso's anywhere near the front, I'm going to go mental. But chill out, Rich. Chill out. So, what do we think? What do we think is the order of things at the moment in Formula One? Because it is all over the place, right? It's not as clear cut as it was, is it? I mean, what do you think? I was I surprised with yesterday? I don't know if I was surprised with yesterday, but it was one of them, wasn't it? So let me just bring up the results of free practice 2 yesterday. And obviously we've still got free practice 3 and qualifying, and of course the race where it matters. But you're starting to expect something at least a touch representative, right? Because free practice 2 is the results, it's the same sort of area of weather and time that the race is going to take part. So you expect free practice 2 to give you a bit of something. And for me, as a Fernando Alonso fan, boy, did it give me something. That sounded, yep. And then, but in second and third, you've got Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Now, the commentary I was listening to said they still think that the Aston Martin was fueled lower than the Red Bulls. I don't know. I just don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, can I bring these results up on screen? I can. Let's see if we can. Just a minute, because what's that going to do? Oh, that's going to do that. 1 minute. What do we think they were lower fueled? I just don't know. Honestly. Well, we're going to talk about Mercedes in a moment. Let me just try and sort this out so that we can have a little bit of the results as well. 1 moment from yesterday. Say the least. Bit messy. Let's also do this. Give me a moment, guys, and I'll put the results on screen. I've just thought about doing this so we can have a good old look. Right then, that should work. Now, if we have a look at that... Oh, we'll just make it a touch bigger. There we go. That's the results from yesterday's free practice 2. And I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it now because we've got about 30 minutes until free practice 3. Do make sure you've hit that like button on the stream. Get involved in the chat. So Fernando Alonso in first place in free practice 2. Now, we're only looking at this because we think, and I think a lot of people hope, the order has changed a little bit with Formula One, and it'd be fun. Hopefully, Merc will be more competitive today. I think you're going to be disappointed. Rahul, and we'll get on to that in just a moment. Gled there saying Rebels still just on top and Ferrari are quicker over one lap, so expect them to be up there in quali, and Alonso will be third on the grid, and I'll be going mad. Maybe. You're loving Alonso up there. I am. So I am. I'm not gonna hide it. It's insane for me. After years of telling people Alonso's still got it and that happening, it's a lot of validation with people telling me that he hasn't. But so Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. Now, a lot of people, will be happy about it, but there was the interview after, I think it was after Free Practice 2 with Lewis Hamilton, and he looked dejected, disappointed, and almost sad, while saying he thinks that while they don't have the porpoising, the Mercedes is where it was last season or a little bit behind in terms of performance. So, look, I know people love to say a bit of the old sandbagging. People love to say that, but I truthfully didn't see any of that in his body language or the language he was using. I don't think Mercedes fans will be happy this weekend. Now, this is quite the subject, really, because I sent that clip to a friend and said, it makes me sad. It makes me sad. And I think now people are getting to know me and know I'm an Alonso fan. But seeing a 7-time world champion speak how he spoke makes me sad. And I think that's because I'm starting to think it might be the end of an era. And the thing I said in stream last week in testing, wouldn't it be a shame if 2021 is all we get? You know? And I said that on stream. Wouldn't it be sad if that was the fight and that there was no resumption of that rivalry, that Mercedes fell off and failed to give Lewis Hamilton the equipment to be able to take the fight to Max Verstappen? And it would be sad because you can be for Max or Lewis, but I think everyone wants those battles. It's what the sport is about. Rivalries in sport, or it's bread and butter, whatever the sport, you know. And it'd be really sad, I think, if that was the last title battle Lewis Hamilton was to have. Now, I know that's quite a controversial thing to say, but Mercedes aren't in the right thing. I've literally just said no, Rahul, for the last few minutes. They're not going to be. Unless they find something like for their car in the last 12 hours or something, they're nowhere, mate. Mercedes are nowhere. Now, you know, you've seen, for example, and I can give you an example. We've seen the Alpine drivers saying we saw no reason to go flat out in testing. Or you've seen even Alonso at Aston Martin saying that there's still things for them. Whereas the body language and how Lewis Hamilton spoke, he wasn't hiding anything. The Mercedes isn't there. He's managing expectations. Don't be expecting later on today in qualifying Lewis Hamilton to pop up and be at the front. It could be a massive lie, but you know, he just looked sad. That's it, really. That's all you can really say about it. And I agree, because I am definitely a person who wants as many teams and cars up near the front as possible. That's what I want in the sport. So to say what a recent powerhouse Mercedes have been and that they're not anymore is a shame, because you have the likes maybe of Aston Martin coming forward, and we could have had a four-way fight, maybe Alpine as well, Haas, you know, and this is the thing as well. Some analysts are putting Haas, both Haas cars and both Aston Martins and maybe Alpine ahead of Mercedes in qualifying, which, what a fall that would be. What a fall that would be. And I realise all the social media idiots will be blaming the drivers, but look, we all know the vast majority of Formula One is about the car, and it's the fine margins, which is the driver. And if Mercedes really are that far back later on, it'd be crazy. A crazy fall, wouldn't it? And I'd love to know your opinions. Where do you think they might be on the grid later on today? Obviously, we've got Free Practice 3 to get through, which is going to get underway in about 20 minutes. But where do you think they will qualify later on today? Please do put it into the chat. I think you could see them, honestly, as low as, I want to say, around 6th. I don't see them any lower than that, but this was unthinkable a few years ago. But this is what happens, right? Once upon a time, this was Williams. Once upon a time, this was McLaren. You know, it comes to all teams. Red Bull have had their dominance drop back, and now they're back. You know, it's a tough one. But we'll know more later on today. Maybe they find something in P3 and practice 3, and they speed up. Who knows? Brett there. Perhaps a decent debate talking point is Lance Stroll. Personally, I think they should withdraw him from the race because of his injury to his hands. He needed assistance to get out of the car. Yeah, so that is a curious one. Now, I don't know the rules in Formula One for, you know, like painkillers and things like that. Because in some sports, they can give them injections, right, to numb pain and things like that, like in football and all sorts of sports they do it in, or they used to, so that it numbed pain and then they could get rehabilitation sort of at a later or after when they were needed. And I'm wondering whether in Formula One they're allowed such things. I don't know. Because, you know, the thought, I think it's possible for him to have some kind of painkiller injections to numb the pain long enough that he'd get through each day. But I was of the opinion before the weekend, really, and obviously I didn't know the prognosis or outlook or anything for Lance Stroll, but I was of the opinion, you've had Drugovich in the car for 3 days, leave him in the car, allow Lance Stroll to rehabilitate and get his fitness up and get his movement back in his wrist properly and things like this. And, you know, you can give him the best care money can buy away from the circuit, whatever that may be. I don't know. But like I said, I was saying it before he was even confirmed, that we've seen in many other sports where they've had wrists or hands or even like forearms pinned and plated and things like that, and they're back within a week. But he just looks like he doesn't have that sort of motor function. I did have a wheel as a prop. Never mind. We saw him like grabbing the bottom of the wheel to turn it rather than rotating all the way over the wheel, you know? But again, shall we do a poll on that? Let's start a poll. Should Lance... Well, who should drive? Drugovich, Stroll. There you go. And I'll ask your opinion, and you can get your votes in, can't you guys? Do you think Lewis will continue with Merc next year if the car is bad this time? Don't know, mate. What do you think? What do you think on that? Do you think Lewis Hamilton will continue? Give me your opinion. Agree. Stroll should let Drugovich drive. I don't think it's. I don't really think it's. Well, is it up to Stroll? I suppose I suppose he can't be seen to tap out, can he? As a driver, if he's seen to tap out, that's not a good look, is it? But yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to see how he moves forward this weekend. We'll get more of a picture through Free Practice 3. In fact, what I might do is I might try and get up a view of his car specifically so that I can watch and see how he's doing. He's passed the test to get out of the car, so he should drive. Fair play. Yeah, if you can pass the extraction test, Gled, you know, that's normally what people say, isn't it? I think they should give Van Dorn a shot he's a seasoned driver. Not for me, not in a million years. You may as well leave Stroll in the car because Van Dorn didn't have pre-season. How long is it since Van Dorn's driven a Formula One car? For me, the only choice is Drugovich, because he had the pre-season. Now, if you put Van Dorn in the car in pre-season, then I'd agree, and I'd say leave Drugovich out. But you had Drugovich in the car for pre-season testing, so for me, Van Dorn, it doesn't make much sense to put him into the car, in my opinion. But there we are. My opinion. That's all it is. Yeah, it is. It's 57 laps, 308 kilometres, Brett. If the Merc is as bad as Lewis says, I think he'll retire at the end of the season. Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because if he's not ready to finish, I don't know. I put this out there, and the other day everyone was saying no, but I feel like that opinion's going to change quite quickly in the coming days. I think people will say it. At what point has he passed the extraction test when he was rested? What? At what point has he passed extraction test when he is rested, or after what a GP puts on the? It's before, isn't it, Nick? Obviously, because he hasn't done a GP. So the test in just sort of, isolation. He won't retire. I don't know. I can't say that, and neither can you. No. I mean, he's going to retire, isn't he? But we don't know when. That's the question. But we can't say he won't. We don't know, do we? Any bets on Alonso winning the World Drivers' Championship this time? I said this in pre-season about Alonso winning the title, and a good friend of mine did put on a bet at very good odds, and the odds have been slashed. So some people did. We'll see more this weekend, won't we? There's John with the bet on. They're going to sort the Merc out. They always do, but for the first few races, they aren't going to be great. Got to get that in your heads. To be fair, Gled, though, right? We don't know the qualifying margin yet. We don't know what's going to happen. But truthfully, I can't think of a time really in Formula One where a team has made up more than, I don't know, 2.5, 3/10 in a season. And I said the same last season. While they got a race win, really on race pace, Mercedes still weren't there, were they? You saw it in multiple races where it looked like Mercedes might do a bit of something. And then the strongest part was race pace, but it still wasn't there. So, it's how much do we think that Mercedes can catch in a season in terms of lap time? How much do you guys think? I think an absolute, very optimistic maximum is 0.3. Absolute maximum, almost certainly not going to happen, 0.3, and more likely just shy of 0.2 of a second in a season, I think, if they unlock something. But then again, they might unlock something like they might just go, that's what we needed, and it might work. But what was their race pace, Rich? Were they in the 37s last season? Well, it's difficult to say, dude, because last season they're much quicker, aren't they? Ian says, the issue is it's okay saying he has passed the test after no stress of racing. What happens after 35 laps? Well, no, indeed, Ian. I'm just saying he passed the test without a GP, right? Because he hasn't driven a GP. So yeah, no, I am on. Race pace. Are we on about from testing and stuff? Now in testing, this is interesting. In testing, the two drivers that were the fastest in testing in long run race pace. I haven't actually looked at the data for practice. I'm not going to lie. We're probably going to see some long runs today. Actually, I would think. But what the only two comparable drivers that were fastest were Max Verstappen and Alonso. And I was saying this on the final day of testing, and people were telling me I was getting carried away. I might be an Alonso fan, but data doesn't lie. Now, he may have had less fuel, but he did a long run, and it was very comparable to Max Verstappen's long run. And then I would say the Ferraris were after that, but they dropped off big time. Later on in their run, they dropped off big time, which would marry up with what they were saying about tyre deg, right? It would tie in with all of that. And then Mercedes were very similar to the Ferraris in that on long runs, later on in the run, they seem to drop off quite a lot. So it's just not a good look, right? FP3 starts in 9 minutes. In 9 minutes, Joshua. Do you think Max can be on pole? Max can be on pole, as can many drivers. But yes, Max can be on pole for sure. Will he be? Is a different question, and I don't know. I think yes is the answer. I would go with I think Max will be the pole sitter this weekend. As I've just put my coverage on, ready to go. Bit weird listening to people while I'm talking, but we're doing it again. Here we go, guys. We've got just 9 minutes to go. 9 minutes to go. James reckons Merc race pace will be fine for 3rd or 4th, and they have better strategy than Ferrari over a season. Well, there's a statement. I don't agree with that, but it's all about opinions, isn't it? I really, look, TSKF1, hot take, there will not be a Mercedes on the podium this weekend. I realise it's a little bit early for me to say that, but I think there are almost many cars you would put in front of them. Unless some craziness happens, of course. You can never account for a bit of craziness, can you? And we all love a little bit of craziness. But I really think there's nothing showing that Mercedes will be up there. Their race pace didn't show that they were 3rd and 4th fastest at all. So, if this is going to be a bad season for Merc, I think they should give up on their side pod concept. Why is that, Joshua? Last year, Merc were looking to be on the podium because both Red Bull retired. Good shout. Good shout. That's pretty much how I remember it as well. It's pretty much how I remember it as well, honestly. Both retired near the end, didn't they? It's worth noting, Red Bull haven't won here for 10 years, which is, again, I know I've said that stat over this weekend, but it's still a surprising one for me. But apparently, though, Ferrari have found a chunk of speed, so that'll be interesting to see if it makes a difference, won't it? Because, well, it'll just be interesting to see if it... probably, yeah, we'll have to see, won't we, Lewis? We'll have to see if I go mad. Over the moon about Alonso. Give us your thoughts going into the season. About what? About Alonso? I think we're going to see Ferrari. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think later on today we're going to be surprised by Haas. I think we're going to be surprised by Haas later. Ooh, it's a really tough one. It's a really tough one to about Alonso. Seems he still has the pace. You don't lose racecraft. I've said he's still got the pace for years. I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful for Alonso. Look, if he can nick some podiums, maybe a race win here and there, I'll go nuts. I will go nuts. FP3 is about to start. Just a couple of minutes. Nico showed some pace yesterday. He did. I think Haas might be surprising. I watched the F3 race at Bahrain this morning, quite entertaining, so I won't spoil. Feel free. This isn't an F3 channel. Feel free, Brett. Say as you want, dude. It's all about the F1 here. I haven't got enough hours in the day to watch F3 or F2, unfortunately. But I'd like to follow the F2, but I just don't have the time. Unfortunately for me. Let us move to let's move to the timing screen. There we go. Which should start updating very, very soon. Here we go. The music's on. I wish I could use it. Right. We do have Twitter open. If anyone's got anything interesting to tweet at Pit Lanes, sorry, at the Sausage Curb, wrong channel. There we go. So yeah, the race is 57 laps. But today, Free Practice 3. Now, what are we likely to see in Free Practice 3? I think we're probably going to see some long runs and things like that. And we might get an eye on that. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to bring up on my side, I'm going to bring up tyre data. So I can give you some information about long runs and stuff as we're doing it. I thought of you going mad at P2 yesterday. Yeah. I was going crazy in the car. Right then, let me get tyre data up. There we go. So I've got the tyre data up, I've got the timing up, I've got the track map up. We are ready. We are ready to go, sports fans. Are we excited? Are we excited? I am. Please do make sure you're hitting that like on the stream as well, guys. You might have to close down the chat to do so, but please do hit that like. It helps absolutely loads. And also, just a reminder, this is the last chance you have to join our F1 Fantasy League. Now, it's pinned in the comments and it's down in the description as well. When qualifying comes around, teams will be locked in. We're at very nearly 100 participants, and it would be great to get to 100 people taking part. So if you want to take part in a really big fantasy F1 league, please do get involved. Get involved, guys. Down in the description and also in the chat. Results of the poll that we've got going on in chat. 75% of you think Drugovich should drive. I predict there are going to be 2 red flags this session, one of which will be caused by a Red Bull. Well, that's an odd prediction. I'll go out on a limb and predict 0 red flags this session, and if there is one, not caused by Red Bull. Already mentioned the S word. I don't even know what the S word is. Oh, of course he has, because it's rubbish. Yeah, it's not happening, is it? Now, let's it's just so lazy. He's so lazy to just say that immediately, but of course he does. People think the sun shines out of his ass and he's not even very good. It's weird. We're just waiting for the green light. Just a moment to go. Super excited for this. Super excited. There's no one waiting to go out in FP3, so we might just have to chat. Where's the time data? There has to be some times, Joshua. No, the session has begun, but there's no cars on track, as you can see by the track map above me. So how it works is, to have a time, a car needs to set the time. So as we do see Norris go out on track. There you go. Norris is out on track. Where do we think McLaren are going to be? McLaren, as Norris goes out on some fresh softs, interestingly. And he is crawling, so he's trying to keep those tyres nice and cool. How does the... so I spent absolutely ages on the microphone this morning, guys. How does it sound? Does it sound okay? I got this microphone yesterday, but I didn't stream with it yesterday morning. So how do you think it is? I think McLaren are going to be behind Haas. One of the McLarens will be out on Q1. I reckon so. As we see, Fernando, he hasn't even got his overalls done up yet, so he's not going out anytime soon, and we're not seeing anyone else out on track at all at the moment. Oscar Piastri, his fire suit isn't done up, so he's not going out on track anytime soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you for the sound sort of feedback there. I have a feeling, I got a feeling that McLaren have a car that will be either good or rubbish, depending on what track they're at. Yeah, maybe. I think McLaren may be slow at first 3 or 4 races, but hoping upgrades can bring them back into Alpine. Ooh, I think Alpine and Aston are going to be out of reach for McLaren this season, honestly. McLaren will be setting purple sectors because he's the only car out on track, Shiv. So he will be setting all the purple sectors. Now, what I will get ready, I already had ready, actually. I'll get the results from FP2 yesterday ready. Now, it should be slower today because it's hotter, but we'll see. We'll see. As Norris is starting a quick lap. A 30.0 is very respectable in the first sector during the day. So that's a pretty good first sector there for Norris. As I'm watching him come through 5, 6, and 7, down towards turn 8. Nice and stable there because through 7, people have been losing it. No lock up into turn 8. Lovely. As he goes up the hill towards 9, where we saw Sainz have that massive spin yesterday in FP1. No such spin for Norris. As he goes through 10, he missed. He got yeah, that was a weird line. I think he got a bit of understeer through turn 10 there. I don't think that was particularly great. Well, from the outside, it looked like he got that wrong. As we are seeing Lance Stroll getting into the car. Now we'll keep an eye on. Actually, that's a point. I'm gonna try and watch Lance Stroll's onboard while I'm watching this, so that I can give you more information about his hand potentially and stuff. As we see, oh, that's an issue. As we see, Norris set a 34.6, which is, well, 4 seconds slower than yesterday. Right then, let me... Right then, I want to have Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso on boards open, so let's bring those in. You guys won't see this, but good for me. There we go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Right then. How you doing, Philip? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Jack, I believe I've just done the Fantasy F1. Awesome, dude. Thank you for joining it. Again, I will talk about this quite a lot this particular stream because it's the last chance you can join the Fantasy F1 League. We've got nearly 100 people taking part. It'd be brilliant to get over 100 people in the Fantasy F1. So the link is down in the description or it's pinned in chat. It's free. Just go ahead and sign up, guys. Get involved. It'll be good. It'll be good. Brundle was watching cars into various corners in P2 and was saying McLaren was bottoming out going into corners. All I could think about is how mental you were going with Alonso's performance yesterday. Yeah, I was in the car going crazy, honestly. As we're seeing Hülkenberg out on track now on some fresh mediums, and Magnussen's just left the pits. I'm unsure on what tyres yet. Now, I'm going to watch the onboard here for Hülkenberg, because you can derive a lot for how a car is handling looking at the wheel. And I know sounds like an obvious statement, but you can tell how much a driver might be fighting the car. Now, the only thing I've noticed so far is through turn 4, a snap of oversteer for Hülkenberg, but that's quite a normal thing because that's where the car tends to go across a wind direction change. A little bit of understeer and oversteer, a little bit of imbalance basically into turn 10 there for Hülkenberg as he's going down the back straight with his DRS wide open towards 11 and 12 up the hill. And is not doing a bad lap, really. These are brand new mediums, and Magnussen is on brand new mediums as well. Keith saying, I've joined Fantasy F1, but don't know what I'm doing, so expect to be bankrupt by 5 p.m. tomorrow. So, yeah. I have very mixed feelings about Haas. I'll be I'll be totally honest about my stance on Haas. I think Gunter Steiner is a character, but I think his man management could be better. And I am biased because I'm a Mick Schumacher fan. I like Mick Schumacher because I was a massive fan of Michael. And I really like Mick, and I think he's got talent, and I think we will see him back on the F1 grid sooner rather than later. But there's still something, I think it's the Britishness in me. I want to see Haas do well because they're sort of the plucky underdog, right? So, according to Crofty, it appears Max was coasting, I guess you mean, after turn 11. I don't have that data, so I can't really comment on it, honestly. And I can't tell you that. Yeah, I don't know. If that's what Crofty's said, then Crofty's never wrong, is he? So here we go. On board, brilliant. I'm loving this. If anyone, I'm not sponsored in any way, but if anyone has F1 TV, you can get multi-view and you can have the onboards of any car. And it's brilliant. I'm literally looking at Alonso looking at me. Me and Alonso are as one. As we're seeing Magnussen setting his first sector time there. He did, James. He did. Russell and Hamilton. Here you go, Mercedes fans. Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, and maybe Sainz all out on fresh softs. Here you go, guys. All out on fresh softs. So if you're a Mercedes or a Ferrari fan, here you go. We will see some, I reckon, a mixture of long runs and qualifying simulations. I think you might, and when I say simulations, I don't mean that they've got everything maxed out and they're going for it. Just it's a simulation of the repetitiveness of the qualification. So, seeing Magnussen come over the line there, 1/10, just less than a tenth slower than Hülkenberg. He's not the greatest, but he showed he could mix it with a lot in a good car. Would you rate him higher than Lance? I'd rate him higher. I would genuinely rate Mick Schumacher higher than at least half of the grid. Easily. Easily. Very easily. Right then. I need to make sure that the sound is turned off. It is. How you doing, Adam? Hope you're well. So Russell is starting his fast lap first, and we are with him now on TV. I'm going to try and take a picture of what I see. If anyone's interested, I'm going to put it on the TSKF1 Discord, what I see. I mean, you're not seeing the other screens, but there you go. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you? It's not a bold statement. It's based in fact. As we see, 29.9 from Russell and a 29.8 from Hamilton. So there are a couple of tenths up there on the fastest time. But then we've seen Norris do a 29.9 as well on scrubs. Hamilton is just faster than Leclerc in the first sector. This is encouraging for Mercedes fans and surprising for me, if I'm quite honest. A purple sector, middle sector there for Russell, on track to take the fastest time so far in the session. Russell coming over the line. And we see a 34.1, 5 tenths faster than Norris, as Hamilton is approaching the final corner as well. And Hamilton goes nearly 6 tenths faster. But Leclerc has set a purple middle sector. This is super close. Leclerc and Hamilton are very, very close. As Leclerc approaches the line, Leclerc, less than a tenth, called it. I saw that they were very close. Just over half a tenth faster is Hamilton on Leclerc in the first qualifying simulation runs of FP3. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I didn't see that coming. Now, I wasn't watching Russell's lap there, though it was televised. Did Russell have a moment on that lap? Because that is quite the gap. Those times are shocking. Why, James? What? Eh? Yeah, do we think there's still well, okay. Bear in mind, guys, we're at a different track level where it's so much hotter, which will make the time slower. It will make the time slower. So the times aren't shocking for the time of day. These are quick times for the time of day. There's no sandbagging. I know you're trying to wind me up. But yeah, the times aren't shocking. The times are very... That is the effect of heat on the tyres, guys. Honestly. We may see them get quicker. As we're seeing Lance Stroll visor down, about to leave the pits. Yep, Stroll is out now on fresh softs. So we're going to see an Aston Martin qualification simulation now. Thanks for joining me, guys. Please do remember to hit the like on the stream. You can do that if you're on mobile devices by closing the chat, and there's a little thumbs up. It really, really helps. And if you are new here, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button down below. My name's Rich. This is TSKF1, and I'm going to be live with just as many sessions as possible this season. So please do Please do make sure you're subscribed and get involved. Carlos Sainz has set the fastest first and second sectors now by the first sector by about a tenth. Second sector, I'm not sure yet. I'm waiting for it to come through. Sainz is approaching. He might have had traffic there. I'm not sure. How far off was he? It was 2 tenths up. So here we go. Sainz over the line. Goes second. Maybe his tyres fell off at the end. Interesting. I am on board with Lance Stroll because I just wanted to keep an eye on whether he's taking his hand off the wheel and stuff. So we'll keep an eye on that. Which one? I'm looking at the reverse. It's his right hand, isn't it, that he's got issues with? Is it? Or is it his left? Which one is it? I know he's got one that he's had the little surgery on, and then he's got one that is hurt, right? Forget Ricardo Hulkenberg to replace Perez next season unless De Vries outperforms expectations. I suppose it depends on what the expectations are, doesn't it? Lewis, purple, sector 3, A firm. Right, yeah. Right one had surgery, right. Stroll with a respectable first sector there. That wouldn't be unexpected though, would it? You'd expect him to outperform Tsunoda, wouldn't you? I would. I think that's a respectable second sector as well. He's not on course for first, but half a second off. There he goes into 6th place there on his first qualification simulation behind the Ferraris and Mercedes cars. Yeah. No, they've said that. That he needs to start delivering points on Q3 performances, or they don't, like, they're not interested. We have Zhou and Bottas and Ocon and De Vries out on fresh, soft tyres, guys. But yeah, I didn't see anything untoward with his hand placement there from Lance Stroll, honestly. Any idea when Alonso and the Red Bulls are coming out? I'm literally watching Alonso now, sat in the garage. And I'll tell you, when he flips his visor down, I'll tell you. Gasly to beat Ocon. I think people sleep on Ocon. I think Ocon's quick. Bottas. Oh, Ocon. Oh, Ocon with that purple first sector. Have Alpine turned up? This has been the talk. Have Alpine turned up? Have Alpine actually just turned up? Oh, Ocon with the purple first sector. This has been the talk all pre-season. This has been the talk that Alpine had this. And that they've just been testing the extremes of setup and finding the balance in the car, but they knew they had this. Obviously, as well, a big upgrade into this race as well. Green second sector. Alonso is leaving the pits now. Purple second sector from Leclerc. on some scrubbed soft tyres. Ocon about to come over the line is gonna be up there. Oh, okay, he lost it in the final sector, it seems. Still, purple first sector. Maybe the tyres went on him a little bit. Leclerc with a purple second sector. And these are scrubs, and he does improve. Now, both Ferraris are within a tenth of Hamilton now. Interesting. Now, we have Alonso. This is the lap I'm waiting for. Look, if you are new here, full transparency, I'm an Alonso fan. I know I've said that lots, but, you know. Piastri and Tsunoda are also out on the track, and we've got Sainz out on some 4-lap-old scrubbed soft tyres. And out goes Lewis Hamilton on a scrubbed set of soft tyres also. But we have Alonso, Piastri and Tsunoda on fresh soft tyres, and Russell leaves the pits on some scrubbed soft tyres as well. As Max Verstappen leaves the pits on some brand new hard tyres. So it looks like they're going to do a race run, the Red Bulls, as Perez also leaves the pits on some brand new hard tyres. Alonso starting his fast lap. I want to see purples here. I want to see purples here. Here we go. Up towards the end of Sector 1. Unfortunately, my onboard is still coming through the last corner, but I'm keeping an eye on it. Purple first sector. Very, very purple first sector. Oh, come on. Come on, Alonso. Oh, my Lord. Go on, lad. How much up was he? 2/4 of a second up. Come on. Come on, lad. I know this isn't qualifying, but holy... Go on, lad. As he's coming through second. Any second now is behind Hamilton. Through the second sector. Purple sector, 40.2 there from Alonso. He's got some traffic coming towards the final corner. I feel like he might have got a little bit hampered there, honestly. Half a second up. Alonso over the line. Oh, he lost some in the final sector, but nearly 4 tenths ahead of Hamilton there. Oh, please be real. Please be real. Please be real. Please be real. Oh. Oh. Well, there's that. Now, we have Leclerc out on some scrubbed soft tyres and Bottas out on some scrubbed soft tyres. Max versus Alonso. Woo! There's only one winner there, and he isn't Dutch. Ooh! This is exciting. Hamilton with a green first sector there. Green first sector on scrubs. I think it was a worse second sector from Hamilton there, but he is on scrubs. Verstappen's and Perez's times are on the hard tyres, so I think they're doing a race run. Please do make sure you're hitting that like button on the stream, guys. You might have to close down the chat to do so, and also hitting that subscribe down below. I'll be doing a watch along for qualifying later on today, and also the race. I will be here for it. And yeah, I am very excited for it all. Very interesting that the Mercedes and the Ferraris have improved on scrubbed tyres. That's interesting. Max fast on hards. Yeah, but it's difficult. It's difficult, Adam, because of the temperature and stuff. Like, this is very suboptimal for soft tyres, right? It's hard to tell because obviously the hard tyres will hold up against the heat more and therefore not give more grip, but they won't fall off quite as quickly, you know? So it's difficult, B. It's difficult. Looks like Red Bull will be very, very dominant this year, does it? Oh. If Aston pace is genuine, the middle of part of the season will count. Will both upgrades cost cap penalty for Red Bull? Maybe. I don't know what the question mark is, Shiv. What? Look, anyone, look, away from Fernando Alonso, I've been saying that Aston Martin would take big jumps forward for a long time. You only have to look at what they're doing as a team. You know, like, people forget that they've got Dan Fallows now. Basically, the brain, near enough, behind a lot of Red Bull's success in terms of aerodynamics. He's now an Aston guy. Aston Martin have been cherry picking the best staff from teams all over the grid and putting in place all the best facilities that they possibly can as well. So, a four-way battle. Who would be in your four-way battle, George? I don't think Merc are in it at the minute. Pardon me. Gasly does a soft run and goes up to 8th. If you want to learn more about why I think this about Aston Martin, there's quite an in-depth video that I did on the channel a few months ago. So just look at the video content and it's on the channel, guys. And I go through the timeline of all the upgrades coming to the team and their facilities. As one of the Williamses is doing a practice start at the end of the pit lane, as is Fernando. Just came. You are happy with Alonso currently? Yeah. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with Alonso currently. It's been good recently because I can show I'm unbiased towards the other drivers, but it's very difficult for me now. Being an Alonso fan, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I know there were flashes of it with the Alpine, but yeah. You reckon Alonso will stay in F1 if they have a good season? Eh? I like Russell and Leclerc, so what? The Ocon pace was encouraging. Yeah, I still expected more, honestly. I still expected more. Stroll doing well despite the injury. That means the car is really built well. Yeah. We've seen the odd sort of issue with hydraulics, but the Alpine does seem quick, just not as quick as a lot of people thought it would be, right? Please do make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down below, guys. It really, really helps. We've actually lost subscribers while we've been live, weirdly. Russell seems to be struggling with this Merc way more than Lewis Hamilton. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Why is Alonso in the pit so much? Doing practice starts, Shiv. I'm literally on board with him now. And he's going back into the garage now. They were doing pit box entry practice, and then pit practice starts at the end of the pit. But now he's going back into the garage. So what have we got going on here? Perez is back out on his scrubbed hard tyres. Verstappen complaining of no grip on his hard tyres. Gasly is out on soft tyres. Albon doing well. He is actually up in 9th. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Haas and AlphaTauri and McLaren seems quite horrid. Don't agree. The Haas is a good the Haas is a good car this season. Completely disagree with you there, George. Sorry, mate. I think the Haas is a good car this season. Who is your favourite for pole? My head says Max, my heart says Alonso. And that's what I'll say. We don't know, do we? We don't know. But that's what I will say. My head says Max, my heart says Alonso for pole later on. Either way, I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited for the start of a season for a long time, and it's not really because of Alonso. It's just I feel like there are so many unknowns right now. I know what all the data says and what we should probably expect, but you know, perhaps Alpine is quick. The driver behind may be the one not quick enough. What, the drivers in the Alpine not quick enough? I have a feeling Checo is going to have a good season. He's much more comfortable in the car than Max so far. Based on what? It's great how we generally don't know who's going to get it. Yeah, I'm not sure. You guys, you give me your predictions in chat. Give me your predictions. Who do you think is going to get pole position tomorrow? I think it's going to be Max. Because the reality is there, right? The reality is not struggling a lot. It's not. Let's put a little bit of a lid on it. Let's put a little bit of a lid on it. Max is out on hard tyres, right? Let's actually listen. He's saying he's got no grip on the hard tyres, half a second behind Alonso on brand new softs. I think that Red Bull is a lot faster than we're seeing. So I think Max for pole. The delta between the hard and softs, it's difficult to say. You've normally got a good second haven't you? You've normally got a good second, but the problem is we're at a time of day that dilutes it, right? Because the time of day, the soft tyres go off before the end of the lap and the hard tyres will hold on. So it's a difficult one. And I honestly, saying Max is comfortable in the car, honestly, for me, is just saying there's no grip on the hard tyres after he did a cool-down lap. You know, it's one of them. He's just giving feedback. I don't believe he's not comfortable with the car. Both race winners mid. But you know, we'll see. We'll see in a few hours, won't we? We've still got 24 minutes left of this session. Please do make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We've got 62 people watching and only 25 people have liked the stream. Please do hit that like on the video, guys. It helps so much in telling YouTube people enjoy this content. So hit that like button. You might have to close the chat down to hit the like and then reopen the chat. But it helps tons. It's something free that you can do that helps loads for little channels like mine. And also hit that subscribe down below. It helps tons. Thank you very much. So we've got Sainz and Leclerc out on old soft tyres now. Both sets of tyres have done 10 laps. Even Max said yesterday he's not in the zone yet, and the fact that with such a short session they haven't hit the softs yet tells us they're not worried about. I think all of them would think that, Philip. I think all of them would think that. Highest top speed also for Max on hards. Yeah. Well, no. Well, according to this speed track, which is back towards the start-finish line, Albon's the fastest. So. There's only 2 cars on hard. There is, yep. That are both in the pit. Surprise performance Charles in the top 2. I really don't know, guys. I really don't know. Like, is Alonso just flexing? Red Bull just going about the business? Is that everything Hamilton's got? Do Ferrari have more? You know, the Haas looks terrible. Just to caveat that for you, Pascal, they are on old tyres right now. Hulkenberg's mediums are 14 laps old and Magnussen's mediums are 12 laps old. So those tyres will be suboptimal, shall we say. Track temp 41 degrees. Yeah, this is what we saw in pre-season testing. This isn't the time for setting good times, you know. It just isn't. Oh. Slightly second-hand. Yeah, they're not good mediums, so it's not surprising if the Haas is looking terrible, right? I think Red Bull is a bit too overrated because the grid is within a second until P15. Red Bull is on hard, but I think it's not as widespread as many people think. Look, all I'd say is usually you'd give a delta of about a second. You would. between, I think most people would agree, you'd expect a hot lap on hard tyres to be around a second slower than a hot lap on soft tyres. Maybe more, 1.2 seconds, which is scary when you see Verstappen is less than 0.6 slower on hard tyres. But we don't know, do we? I don't know. I want to know your opinions on it as well, though. You know, it's about having a usually, all I would say is the only doubt, as we see Stroll going out on, is he on new? Stroll's on some new softs. The only doubt here, right, with the whole Aston Martin thing, is normally people, if that was Red Bull, people would be saying Max has got this, right? Who do we have out on new? Just Albon is out on some new softs as well. Zhou's out on some new softs. And Logan, is Logan in it? Sargent has just gone out on some new softs. Maybe Red Bull might get a ban like the days with Ferrari and Bridgestone. Eh? What do you mean? Eh? Leclerc, what's he on? Old soft tyres, so he's not going to do anything quicker. I don't know what he's on about, Pascal. Sorry, I still don't know what you're on about, George. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate the podium chance for Alonso. I'll do it in a percentage because that makes no sense. But I will go for, right now, podium chance for Alonso. Right now, my honest to God opinion, 75%. 75%, I think. Obviously, after qualifying, this might change, but right now, 75% chance is going to get a... I like how I said that made no sense, 1 to 10, but it's the same thing. Percentage. But 75% I'm going with. I don't know what he's on about, Gled. Zhou with a purple second sector. Stroll with a purple first sector. Zhou goes second. Just slower than Alonso there. Interesting. Bottas went faster than Zhou in the first sector and then backed out of it. Very interesting. Stroll is on target for maybe being second right now as well. Very, very interesting. Albon's probably going to jump up to around 7th here as well. Where's Stroll going to go? First. There we go. Stroll up there is... Right. Look. I'm just going to throw it out there. That's Lance Stroll. I think we can all say that Aston's got some pace now. Everyone trolling Lance Stroll. Apparently Alfa Romeo are running heavy. Apparently Alfa Romeo are heavier. Hamilton has just gone out on fresh softs. There you go. For me, these are fairly representative qualifying runs. No, we're not in qualifying, but these are going to be fairly representative. These are fairly representative. End of FP3, soft tyres. Obviously, the cars will work differently when it's cooler later on today when we cover the qualifying, but yeah. So who else is out? We've got Hamilton out on fresh softs, and we've got Sargent's on a lap. No, he ain't. Just Hamilton right now. Russell? He's on scrubs, though. Russell's on scrubbed tyres. Russell's are 7 laps old. We need to see Red Bull. Where is Hamilton? He's going through 11 and 12 now. Zhou is out on scrubs. This is the lap for Hamilton here. Later on is going to be so interesting, guys. I am going to be live for qualifying. Please do come along. I genuinely want your company, your input in qualifying later. I am so hyped because I have no idea what's going to happen. Are these times representative? Could we see an Alfa Romeo up there? No one's saying it, but could we see an Alfa Romeo up there? Could we? They look reasonable in pre-season. And they're saying that they're running heavier than everyone apart from Ferrari. Alfa Romeo are running heavier, apparently. Okay, so Hamilton is now on his lap with Russell ahead of him. Watching Hamilton's times here, I'm seeing Lance Stroll for some reason on board when Hamilton is on a lap. Is it going to be quick as he approaches the first timing line? Hamilton on fresh softs. Purple first sector there for Lewis Hamilton. George Russell a 10th slower. You could be about to see 1-2 Mercedes here. Could be about to see 1-2 Mercedes here. Russell on scrubbed tyres. Important to point this out that Russell is on now 8-lap-old tyres as Fernando Alonso now leaves the pits, but he is on brand new soft tyres for Alonso leaving the pits. As we're going through the second sector now, George Russell, we're looking, he's down in 15th if you're looking at the timings right now. Any second, a green second sector there. That is a decent second sector. Hamilton following 0.2 faster through the second sector than Russell was Hamilton. As Russell is going around the final corner now. And over the line. And there we go. 0.2-ish faster for Russell, and Hamilton any second now goes even faster by nearly another 2 tenths of a second, as indeed chat say we've got Verstappen out on fresh softs, qualifying run for the first time really this season, as we see Ocon as well out on fresh softs. We've got Sargent and Bottas out on scrubs, Alonso out on fresh softs, Tsunoda, Norris, De Vries, Hulkenberg and Piastri all out on fresh softs as well. So there we go. The times are tumbling very, very quickly here as we are looking down the timing screens, looking for green sectors here. I think they'll be down in the 28s, Philip, in the qualifiers at least. I think we're gonna see right then. I'm looking for the green sectors. Is that Piastri? Piastri with a green first sector. Not a bad first sector from Piastri there. It's going to see him jump up. Have Mercedes found something? The one everyone needs here is Alonso's on a lap and Verstappen's on a lap. And Hamilton's saying his tyres were hot to start with. We're seeing green sectors there from Piastri and Norris and Sargent, and that is the order of them, with Piastri about a tenth faster than Norris, as we see Verstappen go green in the first sector with a 29.3, which is 2 tenths faster than what Piastri went in the first sector, as we see Alonso go green as well with a 29.4, half a tenth slower than Verstappen through that first sector. So that remains that Hamilton is the fastest through the first sector there, and Norris goes through the second sector about, again, half a tenth slower, as we see Piastri jump up to 4th place in the McLaren. What we got going on here? We've got let's have a look. Purple second sector from Verstappen. Here we go. That's where the handling really matters. Norris jumps up to 7th place. The handling really matters. The downforce and the balance of the car matters in the second sector, as Alonso is just less than a tenth slower through that second sector than Max Verstappen. So we've got Alonso probably a tenth and a half down through the second sector, as Verstappen goes first by 2 tenths of a second. Probably the first representative time we've seen from Red Bull and Verstappen this entire season so far, as Alonso goes 0.05 faster than Verstappen. Holy shit. Bro. Go on. As Ocon goes 7th with all green sectors on those fresh softs. De Vries down in 17th. Bro! Yes! Go on, lad. Oh, mate. Oh! Go on! Bro! Go on, lad. Oh, I am hyped for qualifying. I am hyped for qualifying. All the people in preseason testing, when I was saying that Aston looks legitimately fast, that long run pace of that Aston Martin is fast. That quick lap pace is fast. Just look over there. Look over there. Just saying. Oh, later on's going to be fun. Look, it might not happen. Red Bull might smash everyone. It might happen, and it probably will happen. It's Red Bull, right? But God, I'm pumped for later. The team radio there to Alonso, currently still P1. Oh, really? Great. So, look. We'll see later. And I think I'll agree with Gled there that that's encouraging for Mercedes for sure. We've still got 6 minutes left. As George Russell is out on fresh soft tyres now. Fresh soft tyres for George Russell. And Hamilton is out on scrubs. So we're seeing a reversal of what just happened now. The teams, and I've seen this through this session, that teams have been testing doing a quick run and then trying another quick run on scrubs. And I think that's just to get that data. Do the tyres need a heat cycle before they do fast laps? And we've seen it as well previously, where you might see a quick run and then a cool down lap, then another quick run. And they might be experimenting to see how the teams... how the tyres react. That was a fresh run on fresh tyres for Verstappen. That was as representative. We don't know fuel loads. The Aston might have no fuel on board and Verstappen might be running half a tank. But God, it's exciting. Come on, guys. It's so exciting. Sergio Perez, where is he? Perez with a green first sector, green second sector on fresh softs. Magnussen also green in both sectors, going up to 10th as we're waiting for Perez to approach the final corner. Green in both sectors, but I don't think he's massively quick, is he? I don't think he's massively quick. Let me just see this split time. Oh, actually, he's very, very close. I'm wrong. He's very, very close. As Perez goes third. Look. Everything is showing us that this pace here. This pace here. This is crazy. Makes sense to do that. Some might warm up issues, some might not. Looks like Aston Rebel heat up the tyres quickly. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, so Hamilton and Russell. The next interesting one is George Russell, who is currently down in 5th. Where is he on track? Coming round towards the second to last straight and final corner. Oh, come on. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. I don't know what's going to happen. Normally, by this time, you know what you think you're going to get. I don't know what's going to happen. So we're seeing now Russell starting his fast lap. Oh no, he's gone into the pits. Russell has gone into the pits. Very odd. Hamilton is starting a lap though on those scrubbed tyres. I don't know why Russell just boxed. He came out on brand new tyres and he's boxed, and then I don't know what he's doing. That isn't what I expected to happen at all. By the way, I need to ask, because I did a lot of setup work. Did my voice cut out when I got very excited, or did it stay audible? Hamilton. Hamilton got a tear off court in the left rear. Hamilton's not going quick. Ferrari are out on new softs, and Sainz is on his lap. Good shout there. So we're waiting on the sector time. Down in 14th, if you're looking at the timings. We're looking at the timings here. Sainz with a green first sector, not purple. Look. You know, at what point do we go that Aston Martin's a quick car? I mean, we're going to find out later, but guys, if you're enjoying this content, please make sure you're hitting that subscribe down below. I will be back for the qualifying later on today and the race tomorrow. I'm really excited to cast the race tomorrow. Really excited. Can't wait. Leclerc faster by about 0.75 of a second. Behind Sainz there. Both going green in the first sector. Sainz green in the second sector there. There's something I want to come back to here as well. Both green in the second sector for both of the Ferraris. These are fresh tyres. This is a representative lap time. Sainz goes 7th. Okay, Leclerc I'm expecting to go probably 6th. Knocking Sainz down to 8th. 5th, okay, 5th there. So Sainz he lost a 10th every sector, did Sainz on Leclerc. Okay, Alonso and Verstappen are both out on scrubbed soft tyres. Alonso's are 2 laps older. So there we go. And Lance Stroll leaves the garage. He is on 6-lap-old softs also. Do we have anyone on fresh tyres? We've got 1 minute to go. They're probably not going to get round for a lap. Now, look. You know what? At this point, you'll have watched my prediction video with Harry and John if you're going to watch it already. And I'm probably going to have to say I was wrong. Sargent has been faster than Albon all weekend. There we go. And I'll say that. And if I'm wrong about that, come qualifying, I'm wrong about that. I'm surprised even at this point that Sargent has been faster than Albon all weekend. I'm nearly positive about that. And, you know, I'm wrong. But I'd like to see the tyre data because Sargent was faster in FP1, I'm sure. He wasn't in FP2, but he looks to be faster in FP3. So, look, he appears to be holding his own against Albon, which I think most people would agree is impressive because Albon's done a great job in that Williams. And if he does, I'm surprised. My God, I need to lay down. That was free practice. Thank you for the lovely comment there, William. I appreciate that. Please make sure you're hitting that subscribe down below, guys. We're approaching 1,100 subscribers. Well, I feel like there was some sponsorship still. I don't think you would technically call Sargent a pay driver, but, you know, after it was announced he was signed, there was a fairly substantial deal done with an American brewery company, I'm sure it was. So I think there was still influence there, shall we say. You're going to be going mental for quali. I can see it now. I hope you guys are going to join me for qualifying. I really, really do. I really do. Because I'm loving doing these. I'm loving doing these. Tons. I mean, look. I'm going to swear. If Alonso is anywhere near, I'm going to go apeshit. I'm going to go mad. What time is quali? Qualifying is, I will be live at 2:30. So 2 hours from now, I'll be live again with qualifying. Ooh. So they were trying to do a practice start for Lewis, but Mercedes mistimed it. Well, there we go. There we go. There's free practice 3. Let's do a little bit of a rundown there. Alonso with the fastest time, with Verstappen and Perez second and third. Hamilton in fourth. I've got to say I'm a little surprised about that. Leclerc in fifth, Russell sixth, Stroll seventh, Sainz eighth, Piastri ninth, Gasly 10th, Ocon 11th. Want to see more from Alpine. Honestly, I want to see Alpine do more. And Zhou, Norris, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Bottas, Sargent, Albon, and De Vries. 100% Bottas has got a lot more to give there as well. Have to watch, repeat, I'm going to work. See you later, dude, no problem. Quali result, P1 Verstappen, P2 Leclerc, P3 Alonso, P4 Hamilton, P5 Russell, P6 Sainz, P7 Perez, P8... I'm not sure I'm on board with probably half of that. Well, actually probably more than half of what you've just said there. But everyone's got to have an opinion, Goex or Sebastian. But I'm not sure I'm on board with it. But there we are, guys. That is the watch-along for... Oh, we've got... Oh, Max Verstappen did a practice start and got anti-stall. I will be live at 2:30 for the watch-along of qualifying. Please do make sure you join me, guys. Thanks a lot, and I will see you in 2 hours. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.